Welcome, Immigrant Nation. Another week, another new episode. I'm your host, Aaron Doliosa, and this is An Immigrant's Life podcast. An Immigrant's Life across all your social media platforms. Feel free to follow us and send your messages if you or someone you know wants to come on the podcast. Alternatively, you can reach us via email at animmigrantlife@yahoo.com. And I say this every week, and I truly mean it. Thank you for being here, and your support means the world to me. This week, I had a conversation with a friend who's an artist, and he's saying that he's not sure with his art, and he feels like he hasn't evolved. He feels like he's stuck. And I just gave him advice that I asked him, do you have an Instagram account? And he said, yes. I said, why don't you scroll to the bottom of your Instagram account and see your evolution? Because I don't believe him. I don't believe that he hasn't evolved as an artist, as a person. I know he has. It's just sometimes we forget the past. I don't know why. It's probably our brain tricking us to keep on moving, to continue looking for something better, quote unquote better. But when I told him that, apparently he did it and he thanked me for it because I was right. I don't care about being right. I didn't like that he was putting himself down. Speaking of artists evolving, actually, it ties to our episode this week because this episode features an artist who shares her upbringing amidst the collapse of the USSR in Russia to her flourishing artistic endeavors in Lisbon, Portugal. Raised by her grandmothers while her parents were away for work, she navigated the trials of academia, battled with self-esteem, and faced panic attacks. Through introspection and exploration, she discovered her artistic voice, drawing inspiration from her travels to Sri Lanka and her unwavering love for languages. In our conversation, she candidly shares insights into her personal relationships, concerns for her family back in Russia, and the profound impact of therapy on her journey. Tune in as we explore the vivid portrait of her life's tapestry, woven with threads of adversity, passion, and growth. I love this episode. And I say that all the time, but I'm telling you, this one's really good. So let's not waste more time. Without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today's guest is an artist that loves turning memories into art while learning languages and playing music in her studio. Everyone, please welcome Anastasia Kuznetsova.
Hello.
Hello. By the way, thank you for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for calling me.
Of course. Why don't you tell the Immigrant Nation where they can reach you or if you want to promote anything?
Just Instagram. Anastasia Kuznetsova. But with W, because my name is the most common name in Russia. And when you try to register somewhere, it's already busy, usually. So you have to play with letters.
Find a way, yeah. Trust me, when I did some research, I'm like, what is this girl's name, man? I can't find her. But obviously, I'm pretty good because I have my background.
Yeah, my hometown.
Hell yeah. Your hometown. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name because it's like alien
I'm
to
going to
me.
pronounce it's Nevinnomyssk.
Oh boy. Whatever that word is. How was like growing up in your hometown?
I can say I had beautiful childhood because I had no phone. I had real friends on the streets, and I used to spend a lot of time with my great grandmother from one side and from my mom's side and from my dad's side. And I lived in a village. We had chickens, cows, huge vegetable garden, and you have always what to do because kids are helping. Before you go to your friends, you have to help, and then you can go.
You're not helping, you're forced to help.
Yeah, it's not even a question. You wake up, you have a task already, and after that you are free to have fun.
I remember those days, man. I was the same thing. I grew up with my grandma, and she always has something to do. You have to clean the pigsty, feed the pigs, take care of the chicken. Like, I just want to play, dude.
Yeah, but now I don't mind to go back. Can I go back?
It's easier, no pressure, right?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
funny. You mentioned you were raised by both of your grandma. Was that the reason? I know your parents they work hard and they leave you with
They
them,
were
or
they were just young. My mom was 20. My dad 22, and they just were making money to survive. It was not the easiest time in Russia. It was like a crisis. My mom had her salary in bread sometimes. Yeah,
I've
I'm not
heard of
joking.
this, and this is
Yeah,
real.
yeah, it's not a joke.
Oh
So
wow!
and I was hanging out with my great grandma a lot because I went to kindergarten when I was 1.5, something like this. So yeah, because for example, my um, younger brother, he went to kindergarten after 3. Like my mom was taking care of him as much as she could. To stay with a child, it's a good thing, but I didn't have this opportunity, and my great grandma, she was taking me from school to one section, like I was doing rhythmic gymnastics, then art school, then something else, and so I had no free time, almost never.
Wow. Well, if you're saying that you're doing all these extracurricular activities, how they paying it? Like they're paying them with bread?
No, it's in Russia. It's free. It's
Oh,
free.
it's free?
Yeah, we have a lot
Oh,
of free things. Like if you're a kid, it might cost something, but it's like €1 per month.
okay. So you could just like sign up and everything is free.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a good thing after USSR.
Did you enjoy doing all those extracurricular activities, or do you just want to play?
I think it was kind of a play for me because I don't remember suffering from that I have to go there. Um, I was enjoying it. Of course, I had a lot of time to play because we lived in a village. Uh, I was born in a town in this one in Nevinnomyssk, but when I was 1 year old, we moved to live with my great grandmother in her house in the village, and we moved back to the town when I was 4. And then I was just going to another great grandmother and grandmother and granddad to their village to spend holidays and all that.
A lot of movements. Is that because they couldn't afford, or
I think my parents were saving money to buy their own flat apartment, and yeah, because after we moved out from my grandmother's house, we bought the apartment, and but it was like 1 room apartment, and we were free, like my mom, my dad, and I, and my second brother appeared. So it was a lot of us, and then we bought another one where I had already my room. So I had my own room, but I had the computer in my own room. So it was basically everyone's room. I've never closed the door in this room. So yeah. And when I was 14, my mom and dad, they bought the earth there was a house, but it was like only only the basement or something, like the beginning of the house. And they built it. My dad built the house And we moved in this house when I was 13, 14, something like that. And since that moment, I had my own room. Yeah.
So they bought the land, and then there's like some sort of like initial building
Yeah, there
there.
was like someone started to build the house, and then someone was sick of it, and they decided to sell it.
What did mom and dad do for a living?
My mom is an engineer on the electricity station. She was working on the building, like I don't know how to call that actually. I don't even remember now the name in Russian. But for example, you have the guys who are the builders, like they're working there, and she was the main, like she was checking what are they
Okay,
doing.
yeah. All right, so
uh,
she's the
yeah,
boss,
yeah,
essentially.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and then she went to work on this electricity station, and my dad, he has his own hobby, and it's, at the same time it's work. He is making the floors, the different kind of floor of it's polymer.
Polymer, yeah.
Yeah. For example, if you go on a stadium, if you pay attention to the floor, it might be polymer, or in the shopping mall or somewhere. So it's like it mostly um, in this common buildings where a lot of people, and you cannot um, put something like it. The floor shouldn't be the same as an apartment. It's a different type of the building. So yeah, this is that's his job, and he's pretty good in building. So he can do anything. My dad is the person who can build the house, who can build the swimming pool, like whatever you need, he can do that.
A real man.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't know how to do anything like that.
Yeah, but because he bought, I think 1 year ago or something, not even 1 year ago, I was already in Portugal. So he bought some like a mechanism for the metal, and it was completely destroyed. And he bought it for like small money to reconstruct it, to fix it, and to sell for big money. And he did it. But I was like, how? And he showed me like before and after picture. I was like, oh man, it's huge. It's like 1 ton or something. And he made this.
That's amazing. I love guys like that, man. It blows
Yeah.
my mind. Like, but pretty much it's puzzle, right? Like there's pieces, you just have to find the
It
puzzle,
it
you know?
it, go it goes from poverty, I guess. When you don't have money, you have to you first, like if you have a lot of money, I think you just call the guy who is going to fix it. But when you don't have a lot of money, you try first to do it yourself. And then and it's kind of interesting because when I was living alone, sometimes I had like something is broken, my sink is broken, or the toilet or something, and I was like, dad, can you help me? And we did it together. And sometimes you don't need you just need to clean something there or to fix it, or it's kind of makes your life easier, because when the guy is coming, sometimes he see like, okay, girl, she lives alone, she's probably stupid. I can tell the price like 5 times higher, and then I'm like, no, man, it's just this detail. Just change it because I don't have some instrument. And then yeah, I understand what's wrong, and yeah,
That's amazing. So it's obvious that mom and dad are smart people, which is obviously you're smart too. But I understand that in school, your teacher used to tell you that you're talented but lazy.
yeah, I always heard that. I think it was kind of true because um, for me, laziness does not exist. It's just something that you don't want to do. And sometimes it happens with art. I struggled a lot because it's from one side, I really want to do that. But from another side, I avoid to do that. And at school, it was like that too. I think I don't like to be, mm, because in school you have like this five, it's 4, it's free, the marks. And I don't really like to be like free when someone has 5, and to understand that someone is better. And I had a lot of problems with, I finished the school, like we have 5 is the best mark in Russia. And my diploma after school, I have 5 frees. So I have 3 in math, geometrics, math, information technologies, physics. And I was studying in a mathematics technology class. So it was like my profile things. And I was like, no, I just, at one point I was just, yeah, okay, I'm stupid. That's fine.
You're not stupid. You just don't like doing those things. I was exactly the
the
same.
thing is, when I went to university, I was studying architecture. And there, because I changed the teachers, like there is no this lady that I hate anymore. And there was the one woman, she was teaching math, and I was like, okay. And I was also afraid to say bye-bye to university in one semester, because if you fail exams, that's ciao in Russia. And I was on the first lesson, I was like, okay, this is my only chance. And I was putting a lot of effort in that. And I remember when we were writing tests or something and I was getting the highest grades, I was like, I'm not stupid. Wait, I just have another teacher and she doesn't know that I was stupid at school. So I kind of have a chance to prove that it's not true. So yeah, I'm okay with math. It's actually became my favorite thing during the architecture degree. I enjoyed more math, physics, all that with numbers, because it's clear, you understand is it right or not. And all these subjects with creating something, like how the building will look like, I was like, I don't know. There is so much bad architecture already. I don't want to build another ugly building, and that's why I left, because I was not interested. And I started to draw, and I was like, okay, seems like I was a little bit wrong with my degree.
So you wanted to draw, but I saw that you left your home because of to avoid your strict parents.
Yeah, they. I think at that time I thought they are strict, but now I see reasons why. Because these companies I was hanging out, people were taking drugs, drinking, and I have never done that, just because of, I think, my parents. Because for them it was like absolute no. And my father used to tell me, if I ever smell the smell of cigarettes from you, I'm gonna make you to smoke the whole pack of cigarettes. I was like, oh my god. So I've never tried cigarettes when I was at school. So yeah, they were strict. I was this teenager who was, oh, my parents are bad. They don't let me to go to the party. And of course I wanted some freedom. And when I got this freedom, when I left, because it's also, I left the hometown because there is nothing, there is no place where you can study. And usually people from, don't live in Moscow or St. Petersburg, they moved there to study, because only there we have good places. So it's like, if you want something in life, you have to move. You have to go to Moscow or at least St. Petersburg.
Yeah, that's where the opportunities are.
Yeah, exactly. Moscow is another universe. It's not Russia. It's like, no.
What do you
It's
mean?
completely different. I mean, if you ever come to Moscow and you will stay there for some time, you will be like, oh my God, Russia is the best place for life. I mean, we are not talking about the fact that it's kind of a dictatorship right now, but still, Moscow is one of the best cities in the world for me. I've never seen the transport system better. If you want to buy a furniture in the middle of the night, you will find the shops they are working. You can call and you can get whatever you want. But as soon as you leave Moscow, the life level is just falling down. The more far it is, the worse it is, because the salaries are like the high salary, for example, where I was born, 20 or 30K rubles, it's like 200 or 300 euro. This is like amazing. Can you believe that people live like this? And in Moscow, it's like nothing. You can rent a room for this money, and it's going to be like a good option.
I understand that when you went to college, you had some mental problems, meaning like you had panic attacks.
I had one panic attack when I was still studying architecture. I don't think I had serious mental problems before, but I think I started to feel bad. I remember how I couldn't leave the bed. I cannot stand up. I cannot do anything. And I spent like 2 weeks just sleeping all the time. And I had one panic attack when I was talking to my mom during the call. It was awful because she was so scared that I just switched off at some moment. But we were talking that I don't want to study architecture anymore. But also, like, quitting high degree in Russia is not a good thing, because high education, this diploma, keeps you away from working in McDonald's or something. So it looks like this in Russia. So it's a good thing to have. Of course, it's better to have this degree than don't. And yeah, it happened at this moment. And after maybe 1 week, I came home and I told, like, no, I can't anymore. But we found the solution. My mom told, if you ever want to leave to study abroad, it might be a good thing to have the diploma, to just take a master's degree, not to study from the beginning. And I was like, okay, she's right. And I decided to switch to graphic design because it's more useful, even for me now. Yeah, as a result, I just finished graphic design.
Okay, that's beautiful that mom found a way. What triggered the panic attack? Because you just refuses not to do architecture anymore?
I think I kind of had, it was not, there is no diagnosis or something, but it felt like a depression from the things I read about depression. I had it, and during this conversation with my mom, I was really stressed, and at some point I started to focus on my heartbeat, and it was just all dark, and I was on the floor, and I remember, like, I hear my heartbeat here in my head, and I was so scared. I told my mom that I fainted, and she told me, like, call the ambulance. I called them, but they came like in 15 minutes. I went outside to sit outside on the bench because I lived alone. So if I will die in my apartment, no one knows. And I was just there breathing air, and it was okay. They came and they told, like, you seem fine. I was already fine. Yeah, that's true. But I think doctors, not all of them, of course, but ambulance doctors, they are not really aware of mental health, because from the things I described, they could tell me, like, it kind of sounds like panic attack. But they told me, go to check blood pressure in your head. I did it. It was fine.
But they don't just, like, yeah, mental health, that doesn't exist in Russia.
It's hard to say. It exists. We have even some institutes, universities. So, and I think people now more aware about this, because we just talk about it more. Because you hear a lot. For example, when you tell your grandparents or something, like, oh, I have a depression, and they're like, Oh my God, we grew up and we didn't have a depression. And you're like, Jesus Christ, my grandparents were drinking a lot. Like a lot of people were dying from alcohol and all that. I think it's the problem, the issue. It just, yeah, I will better go to the therapist than drink.
Therapy.
So,
How's
yeah.
therapy going?
It's better. I had therapy when like 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago because of my eating disorder. I can eat a lot of sweets. Like it was my main problem. I can, for example, if I'm buying the cake, I can eat. I will probably eat the whole cake in 1 hour. Like till I see this cake, I cannot stop. And I can and I used to eat only sweet stuff. For example, you will live in the day during just eating just sweets. And I was fighting with myself a lot, like, okay, the diet from Monday, again and again. And then at some point I asked myself, how many years I'm in that? And I counted and I realized it's 10 years. I was like, okay, I need help. It's probably it's not getting any better. It's just worse. And I went to therapy, and I was happy that I did it because we started from this issue, and then the war started. And without therapy, I don't know where I would be. Yeah, and then I finished it in half a year, something like this. And then I moved out. I was in Turkey. I was in Sri Lanka. I went back to Russia to make visas, like 1.5 years, I think. And now here in Portugal, I just felt that I need help again. With not with eating already, but with I think self-esteem, because I was doing it. Mostly it's about art that I wanted, but something stops me. That I always feel like not enough, and now it's getting better. I feel like I'm doing things because therapy is helping somehow.
I'm glad to hear that. But you mentioned that you went to Turkey and then Sri Lanka. I understand you live in Sri Lanka for 2 years. Why did
No,
you?
no,
Oh,
no, like 5 months.
5 months. Why did Sri Lanka and?
Oh, that's a long story. I had a friend. We met in Moscow, and when the war started, I didn't have money to leave, and I was just in shock. I was just I felt frozen, and I couldn't just this reaction, you run or you stay still. And at that moment I couldn't do anything. I just stayed still and I stayed in Moscow. But when my decision came when mobilization started, because that was the line for me. If the government takes usual people and sends them to the war, I cannot live there anymore. It's whatever is better for me. And after some time, I took this decision that I want to at least try. I can always come back. And I went to Turkey because I have a friend there. He's also Russian. We know each other from school. And I went to his place. He lives in Izmir. And so another friend from Moscow, he was on Sri Lanka, and he told me, like, come here. It's beautiful, the ocean. We can rent a house all together, because he also had a friend there. And I was like, okay, why not? I always wanted to see Asia because it's completely different. I know that many people went to Thailand, or some people really enjoy India and Bali, another place with a lot of Russian tourists. But he was in Sri Lanka, and I was like, okay, let's try Asia. And I went there. I made visa in advance, like electronic visa, but it gives you 6 months. I don't know. I'm not sure that now it's like this. I think they made it again 1 month, and then you need to
Renew it.
renew it. Yeah.
Were you working?
I was working remotely, and I was also making tattoos there, like here and there, something. Yeah, but then I thought, okay, it's definitely permanent decision. I cannot live here any longer. I have to face this visa question. But do I want it? And I decided that I always wanted to move to Europe, and I started to look through my options. And I decided to go back to Russia, sell my heritage, kinda. I had an apartment, and to take all that and then finally just come here.
I believe we talk about it that you're in Lisbon. Why did you choose Lisbon?
Oh, actually, at first my idea was to come to Germany because I love German language, and I started to learn it on Sri Lanka just because it was always my dream to speak German. And I was like, okay, now I have a lot of free time. And then I met my friend. She's from Germany. And I was like, okay, I have to do something and I also have a lot of friends in Germany. And it's kind of popular place for Russians. I don't know why. I think like mentality is kind of the same, but in the weather. And I went to Germany, but when I was already ready to apply for student visa, I wanted to go there to study like German and then to go to master's degree. They told me, but this language courses, they are you need to pay for them, and Germany asks to pay in advance for apartment, for everything. And I had a question. I asked them, okay, I am in Russia right now. If I transfer you money, do you know that we have like all these bank accounts, all these transfers, they're blocked. So you need to find the way, and it's really hard, especially when it's like not 50 euro. Even if with 50 euro, you will pay probably commission like 30 euros. So
wait, they blocked your bank accounts?
No, we are switched off from the World Bank system.
Okay.
So from Russian bank account, you cannot send money to anywhere, and nobody can send you money. So Russian people have to do now the bank account somewhere, like I did. I did the bank account in Kyrgyzstan, and I'm transferring money, my rubles, to the rubles on this in Kyrgyzstan, and then on this account, I switch my rubles to euro. And that's how I have euro. And Portugal is the only one country in Europe where it's possible to open the bank account for Russians till the moment when you have the residence. So it's possible. You can prove, like you show a lot of documents, but it's still possible. So, but with Germany, I asked them, what if I'm not getting visa? Because you still have a chance of not getting it. It's pretty high. And they told me, oh, actually, we don't know. We don't know how to send you money back.
What?
Because it's not possible. Yeah, I can send them, but they cannot turn me back. And I was like, okay, I don't really like this. And I started to look for another opportunity, and I found that, like the same system in Spain. You don't need to pay in advance like for everything there, just a small language course. And in Spain, you can change your visa from touristic to residence in Spain. So you don't need to go back. You don't need to go to your country. And I did it. And at the moment when I applied for visa, the ruble became like, it was 70 rubles per €1, and it became like 120, so twice more. So I had like twice less money at this moment. And I asked to make this work, like to change the visa, you need 3 months touristic visa. And it's pretty a lot, because now we have like European Union is our whatever they say, like, oh, we are not friends anymore, we will never be, and this
Allies.
European Western shit. Yeah. And they just gave me 1 month, and I was like, okay, it's not enough. I understand why they did it, because now I had like twice less money. And then I was like, okay, some people move to Portugal. Why? Is there anything I can do too? And yeah, I asked some Russians, and I found the information about like how they're staying. It's actually not only Russians; it's many people from other Europe making the same, or many people from Brazil. They are coming, and you open self-employment here, and you work, you pay taxes, and yeah, you get your residence after like 1.5 years or something like this. So yeah, and I was like, okay, then Portugal. It was not a choice. I think I was just looking for the opportunity, because I didn't want to wait any longer, because I don't know where Russian politics is going now. What is going to be in 1 year, I have no idea. And yeah, so I thought I want to solve it now. I just have this energy now. Let's just do it and then see. I was ready for any country.
You
That
just want
it
to go
was
and be
fine for me.
safe.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, having said that, you're in Lisbon, awesome, you're safe and whatnot. But mom and dad is still in Russia. Do you worry about them?
Yeah, I worry about my dad, because this I like Russia is safer now for anyone from another country. For example, if you, with your passport, if you're going to Russia, um, it's safer for you than for a Russian person, especially if you're a Russian person who, if you're a male first, and if you are not, um, if you don't agree with what our president and all our government is doing, um, that's problematic. And we have many people who are in prison for repost, like on Instagram, comment on Instagram. It's just the machine that it works randomly. We have a lot of new laws, and you don't know, any moment you can be arrested, and they will, like, if you just arrested randomly on the street, they, with these laws, they will find the law to put you in prison. It works like this. And since Russia sends just usual people to the war, anyone who is under 50 is not safe. More than 18 and 50, less than 50, they are the target. Like, one moment you can be called there. And also with like the last things that happened in Moscow. So yeah, basically, if you look in like the Russian history last 2 years, it's really sad, but nothing new. It happened already, and it's just another circle, and it's just another circle. I was a kid, I didn't understand what's going on. I think my life changed completely when I understood. Like, at some moment, I've never thought about it, but at one moment you are like, okay, I get it. What, like, the government should protect you, right? The police and all that, but who is going to protect you from them? And once you understand that, and once you experience it, like this fear, it's not safe anymore, and you don't know. And when I came back to get visa, I was really stressed. I was like, every day I was like, I'm just it's just permanent, like fear. It's your everyday feeling. And but yeah, now it's not going to disappear till I have my loved ones there. It's just I cannot stop reading news because I have a family there. Because it's not about, like, it happens with someone. It just happens with all of us, even if you're far away. It's somewhere here.
All the time. I understand.
Yeah.
Let's pivot a little bit. I don't want you thinking about family too much. I love your art. I love your style. I love the island series that you did. And I love how you draw it on a canvas. What made you decide
Fabric.
to, yeah, fabric?
Oh,
What did
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
decide?
So my island series is like the first one I made. I count my career from from this one. I came to Sri Lanka. I had in my bag. I just had a basically a backpack with some clothes and yeah, brushes. What else I had? That's it. I had a studio in Moscow. I left everything there because I do not have space to take everything with me. And I went to, I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting. They have a capital, and the capital, it's easy to find canvases, oil, color, whatever you want. But we lived in the south. It's like villages. And the first day I went to see what they have, and they had like a small shop for just, I think, some supplies for school. Like, and I found black pen. I found also some colors, like acrylic colors, but they were really small. I tried to use them, so I didn't find any solution how to use the color. And I was thinking I will stretch this fabric as a canvas. But again, I needed a stretcher then. I needed to play a thing to stretch this fabric on. And I couldn't find anything. And I was just for 2-3 months, I was just looking at this stuff that I bought. And I think, yeah, I love this series for environment kind of decided for me what I'm gonna do, because I was like, okay, I even don't have paper. And the paper, imagine if I did this artworks on paper, how I can take them somewhere. It's really a problem. Yeah, and here I was just rolled,
Yeah.
put
Roll
it
and
in my
go.
backpack. Yeah, and I was like, that's amazing. And I even managed, like, of course I took them with me. I have them now in Portugal. So yeah, this is how it happened. This is why I decided to. And it's at some moment I just came home and I just started to draw with a pen on the fabric, and I was like, that looks interesting. I can try.
I love that. I had a former guest. She was the same thing. Like she didn't have money, but she wanted to make art, and the only thing she can find was slabs of wood, and she
Yeah.
started drawing on them. And I was like,
Yeah, this is the best decision. Like, it's the best just to make something from minimum. Because here in Portugal, I came and I was like, okay, I finally have whatever I need. You go to the art store, you will find anything. But it gives you the opportunity to do a lot, and you kind of lose yourself in this. Oh, I want that, and I want that. So it's not easy to calm down and just do what is yours, because it's I know these drawings with a pen or just a line. This is me, like exactly what I'm about. I'm trying painting right now because I was also struggling with the color. um, and here in Portugal, I used to see color because Portugal is like pink, blue, yellow houses. You have a lot of colors around you. And now it's easier. I don't know why. I just had this urge to make paintings, and I started.
I love it. Obviously, you're a very emotional person with the highs and the very
So,
lows.
yeah.
What emotion do you think makes you more productive and more creative?
Oh, of course. Anything romantic, like heartbreak, perfect. Unfortunately, that happened with me on Sri Lanka. I just started to the after this guy left because he was on a vacation, and I knew that it's going to finish. Uh, and I have this uh, topic in my like love stories. I like unavailable people. And when it's distance, it's exactly what I need.
You're a
And
crazy person.
I need therapy. That's why I asked for help. Yeah, for now I'm really tired of that. For now I'm like, no, not anymore. But
Good.
then I think I kind of needed it, and I think this guy has no idea what he made me do. Because I just, all these feelings when you don't, I know that like if I will tell him how I feel in real, like what really I feel, he would like, she's crazy. And it's true, I was crazy. And I couldn't express all that to him. And it's good because this is how this art series came to life. I was just, he left. And after some moment, I started to I suffered a little bit, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna draw.
I
And
love
I
it.
expressed everything there. Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
this is the best feeling for me to create. But I hope one day it's gonna be different. I think now it's changing. Now I don't need to suffer to make art.
I'm glad to hear that. Now you're in Lisbon. I understand that you don't have a studio yet. Do you find that where do you find creating art better? At home or having an own studio?
I think it's a question of your abilities. Like it can be, there are many questions. Of course, if you can afford the studio, it's good, but depends. For example, here I was looking for some studios, and it's always one really big space, which is, I think, really, really cold in winter because we don't have central heating there. And even at home, like it's impossible. And if you have a place like this, and if you need some space just for yourself, like because I cannot paint or draw when somebody is around. I mean, you can change it, but so okay, I just found that I am more. I feel better just creating in my living room. I live with I have a neighbor. We share the apartment. He was like, "Wow, I don't care about this living room. It doesn't need to be living room. It can be your studio. Do whatever you want."
Nice.
Perfecto. Thanks.
That's amazing. I love that the thing that you do that you draw random people at cafes.
Yeah.
When did that
Ex-
start? And
I started to do that in Lisbon. I think. I mean, in Moscow, I was working, and I basically went for this work because they gave opportunity to study. Like if you work there, you can attend the classes, like with a big um, difference in payment, or even for free sometimes. And I was like, okay, yeah, I because I wanted to learn how to draw because nobody ever taught me. And I thought it's a good opportunity to grow my skills too, because I always I already wanted to be an artist there when I was working there. and I was sketching, drawing people, these nude models, and all these classes. And on Sri Lanka, I was trying to do the same. It didn't really work, but I did this series, and I came to Lisbon, and I also felt like frozen for some time. And this is just the way of, if you cannot do, because I separated my own art practice, which is for my portfolio, for example. Like in my portfolio, I have this island series and these paintings I'm doing now, but it doesn't happen every day. Sometimes you just want to draw to have rest. And if you want to raise your skill, you need the field for experiments, and this sketching, it helps a lot. And this is why I'm doing that. Just because, for example, I wake up in the morning, I go downstairs, I have a coffee place there, and I just sketch people there. And I'm already, you have a feeling like you already have done something. So when you come back and when you start to paint or draw, it's not the first thing. So I like this feeling because also when you sketch, when you draw from nature, from life, people outside or whatever, your mistakes doesn't matter that much. If you don't do this, I was really suffering from mistakes before I started to do that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Do you call yourself an artist now?
Yeah, no, I think I started to call myself an artist when during the process of making my art series in Sri Lanka. I was like, okay, now I have my artworks, because before I had, something here, it doesn't put in anything like all together, it doesn't make sense. But now I had this one series and I have another one, and I can put my like the picture of me from my art, and I'm like, okay, I have art now. I'm an artist.
I love it. So you're more confident now.
Yeah. This is what I'm working on with my therapist. But I'm enough. Really, it took me
I know
so
the feeling,
much
girl.
time. Yeah. When you're like, no, I'm not gonna send this request to some gallery because I'm not ready. I will paint 20 paintings more, and then I will be ready. And when you paint, no, you're still not ready. So now I'm learning to do things before you are ready, because you are actually doing them then.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
just somewhere in future maybe. No.
yeah, what are they gonna say? No or yes? You're not gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. There is if one gallery doesn't accept you, another will.
Yeah.
So it's
So
just
what?
the question of nothing. That's okay. And now I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Where is this insecurity coming from?
I think actually, my self-esteem is I feel good when I feel the best. Like if I start to do something and if I'm not the best, I'm quitting. And it was always like this. And now when I was trying to figure out what's the problem, I think this insecurity comes from, of course, we all know this story about that person in the women's life, that if you didn't have enough love from your father, you will seek for this love in like your relationships. And I think it's somehow true, because my dad was, I feel like he knew what to do with me, how to entertain the kid when I was a kid. But when I became a teenager, this teenager with her own opinion, and we were arguing a lot, and we started to communicate again when I was like 16, 17. I was like, okay, my father seems normal person. Before that I was always angry on him. So yeah, and I think this lack of attention from him makes me look for attention. And I recently understood that this desire to be the artist, it's because of that. Because artists cannot exist without attention. Even if people don't know how you look like, you still will get this attention, like Banksy, for example. And this insecurity is also coming. I think my first relationship kind of broke me in this way, in my self-respect and self-confidence in the professional way, because the guy was really smart in math. And I think I decided to go for architecture because of him, because he was like, oh, math is everything. And he was cool in that. I think his parents praised him for math, and he decided that everyone should do that. Everyone, if you don't know math, you're an idiot. And he just put that on me, and I was like, okay, I'm so bad at math. And I started, when for example, you are the kid and you are good in drawing, painting, and you are bad in math. In Russia, we used to take extra classes for what is you are doing worse. And this is so stupid. Like you are trying to put just everything on one level, not because now I see that it would be better to take extra lessons and extra hours of art and like what kid is interested in. So yeah, I took extra classes of math. I was trying to learn it. I was even I was the best in my group for some time in architecture, in all that. But I always knew that it's not mine. And when I was drawing, he was like, "Oh, it doesn't look like things you think you draw." It's so funny that you have a building on your background. I remember we were trying to draw it. He was like, draw, okay, this building, because he was also a skater. And there is a skate park on the, like, close to this building. And I remember I was drawing it and he was just roasting me. There. Yeah,
you know what, dude? Fuck this guy. Okay?
yeah, exactly.
Get tough. Math.
Yeah.
Math is awesome.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, he is good because he was without names, but he finished the Moscow State University, and the math there is like the most hard thing to do. And now I think he's in London or somewhere.
That's cool. He doesn't have the Island series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I prefer the Island series.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're beautiful. You're smart. You're creative. You are enough.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna cry.
Why? It's true.
I mean, this is sometimes when people say something like this, I'm like, thank you so much. Oh my God.
But it's true.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do? You need to go through your Instagram account and you just scroll to the bottom and then you scroll slowly to the top and you see your evolution and you'll see like, you know what, dude, I'm pretty all right. I make good shit.
One day it's gonna be the exhibition in London. I hope he will have my art in front of his face.
I love the revenge, by the way. I love it. Like, it's gonna be sweet. And you know what? It is gonna happen. Someday he's gonna be like, is this the same Chiquita? I'm like, holy shit. Or maybe he'll just like, stupid, still not math. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't care anymore.
Exactly. Obviously, you're focusing on like paintings and whatnot. Have you ever thought of getting into digital art?
No, I think I'm done with I hate to sit in front of my computer. Really, I mean, I tried to draw in Photoshop, and I was dreaming about drawing comics or something like this. I was trying, and I just found that I really love to work with material. I love to turn off all notifications, my phone, my computer. Don't see anything of that. Just go into like art and material and just experiment there and just feel free, Yeah.
Yeah. Do you suffer from creative block?
I think not anymore because I found out that inspiration comes in process. Like if you don't do anything, it doesn't come. And inspiration is the the art construct which does not exist. Also, it's like overestimated. I think it doesn't mean that much. If you want to paint, just go and do that. Just this is why exactly this reason why I'm doing all this sketching, all these live drawings things, because there you just need to draw what you see. So you don't need inspiration for that. It's just the exercise. If you fail, you fail. It's fine. And if you just put it on the everyday basis, if you just do every day something, like I told myself, 4 hours minimum per day, I'm drawing or painting. Doesn't matter. And since I have this rule, I don't remember when I had my art block last time.
I love
Really,
that.
I think it was before I just started to, okay, if I want to take it seriously, then just take it seriously. Then just it can be 1 hour, can be two, but it should be like the I have to do that.
Yeah, you have to put in the work. Like it reminds me of that book that I read, The War of Art by Steven
Hmm.
Pressfield. He approached writing as like his profession. He goes
Hmm.
down the basement, write for whatever hours, and then that's it. That's he put in the
Hmm.
work. But you have to
Hmm.
approach it like a profession, and that makes you a professional. That makes you
Yeah,
a professional instead of
yeah.
just I'm gonna wait for the muses to speak to me and say things to me.
No, what they gonna say? You are not enough. I I
You're not good
told
in
my
math.
I told my student today. Usually, people who are learning or they're trying art, they like it. But what I see, for example, I open the sketchbook and I see some drawings, somewhere in the corner of the sketchbook, like this fear to use the whole sketchbook. What's the problem? And like somewhere it's another drawing, and okay, it's bad. Then I don't want to spoil paper. I will draw another one right here, and I'm like, take your work seriously. Like even if it's bad, just make space for this work. And what if it's good? What's done? Because on this paper you already have 20 more and they are bad, but what if one is good? How you cannot draw it again like the same way. It's going to be okay, you can do it better, but on another page, why I need to do something twice? So yeah, just give the respect to your own drawing. Like whatever is it for 1 minute, take another piece of paper for this 1 minute. If you're doing next one for 20 minutes, take another one. And yeah, don't be afraid of paper. You have enough.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
love that. I love that because I also do art. I do calligraphy art,
Hmm.
and I make my own paper. Like I recycle paper, and then I do my calligraphy on it. And I was
Oh,
spoken to.
nice. Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
It's
And I was talking to a former guest who's an artist as well, and I was like, "Do you ever feel fear when you're about to start an art?" And she's like, "No, why?" I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe you mess up." I'm like, "So what? You're writing it on paper." I'm like, "And you make your own paper. There is no reason to be."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, "I hate you." Yes, you're right.
You can go on digital if you're not afraid to spoil paper.
Yeah, but no, I like it the paper. Like, but yeah, that
Yeah, I mean, for people who are really afraid about
yeah,
the paper.
that changed my approach a lot. But like I just sit down
Yeah.
and like you said, put in the work. It doesn't matter a minute, 4 hours. You got to put in the work, or else
Yeah,
it won't
it's
show up.
I really like the idea that it's better done than perfect. Because from these small things that you did, the perfect comes from these steps. It doesn't come from, okay, I will wait. Okay, now I have inspiration. Now it's going to be perfect. But no,
Yeah.
the
So
chance is really low.
exactly. So send that portfolio to the London Arts Institute so we can start doing the museum. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Yeah, I'm going to try.
for sure. Nastia, I think we're there. But before we close out, I want to close out with one question. Is that all right?
Yeah.
What are the most important lessons or lesson you've learned in life through creating art?
I think after I understood that first I am just a person with my feelings, with my experience, and when I understood that I have enough of experience and I can take all that and put into art, I don't have to look for something. I already have things to say. And my own life is enough for art, and my own feelings in my like this small world is already enough to be art. And after that I started like with this idea I started to do my art series on Sri Lanka. And after this came to my mind, I never let it go, and I still continue to do the same.
I love it. Again, Nastia, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for calling me.
For, have a good day.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Again, Anastasia, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Deliosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.